I'm your host, Vinny Berry. You're listening to the Wrestleville podcast, part of the Fans First Sports Network, where you can find this episode and all our other episodes where you snag your downloads or at Wrestleville.com. And if you listen to us on iTunes and Spotify, please give us likes and reviews. All that good stuff goes a long, long way. My guest this episode is BigJay Bishop. How you doing, man?
Big 400, man. How are you doing, Vince? I appreciate the opportunity to be on your platform. I appreciate the fans for listening, the fans for caring about what Big 400 has to say. I saw some of your content. I'm a fan of the podcast. I appreciate everything you do for the community, for the sport of professional wrestling, and for the audience watching at home, man. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm in the beautiful state of Texas. As you can see, I'm sweating a little bit because it's humid. We're in the summer, but just enjoying my day, getting ready to hit the gym later. I've been doing work and errands all day and then hopping on this podcast right now with you. And then we're going to go hit the gym and grind and hustle. And then if I got time, I'm going to go hit the ring later tonight and train after that. So it's a good day. Every day with Jesus is a good day, man. I'm just grateful for the opportunities to hustle and work and just take advantage of everything that God has put before me, Vince. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your platform.
Hey, thank you, man. This is very nice, and I appreciate the kind words. A lot of people, a lot of people tell me, give me compliments. However, that's been the nicest I've heard in a while, and I appreciate it. I really do, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we do it 400%. You know what I mean? Yes. So we go above and beyond. We're always applying 400 pounds of pressure in everything we do. So
there you go.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, man, you have been wrestling almost 15 years between what? It's been over a decade. So
over a decade, yeah.
Yeah. And have you always been a big dude? I mean, have you always been a big wrestler?
Yes. Well, I was a 13-pound baby.
Okay.
I was like 100-pound 5-year-old. I've always been massive. My mother's father was 7 feet tall.
Wow.
Tall and lanky, and my father is like short and stocky. So it's like I got the mix of both, where I got the build where I'm like as wide as a door frame. I got to step sideways through some doors sometimes. I'm on the plane ticket. MLW just booked 3 seats for me, so I'd have the whole road to myself because I'm just a wide guy. And then and then I was just always big, and I just hit them growth spurts, and I managed to like never drink or do drugs or doing anything, like stayed away from caffeine, because they said it would hurt your growth spurts. And I ended up, I'm somewhere on like the 6'6", 6'7" scale. I'm like 6'6.5". So, flat-footed. Maybe if I have some shoes on, I'm like 6'8". I don't know, depending on the pair of Nikes I'm wearing. But I've just always been a massive guy.
And maybe depending on how you style the do, you could be 7 foot, dude. Easy.
Maybe if I like stretch, do one of those body like things where like you hang for so long, there was when I was a kid that was on YouTube once, and they did this. There's this video that I was like, do these stretches to make yourself taller. So I went on the wall, and what age was I? I was like 17. So it was a few years ago, and I marked my height, and my height at that time was 6'5", right? And then I did these stretches, and I was like 6'7" because it like aligned your spine or something. And I was like, that was interesting. And then the next day I went back again, and I was back to the original height because like gravity or whatever. I was actually just talking to a friend about how I think if I wasn't so heavy, I'd probably be much taller, because I know weight plays a massive factor in your height, So I think maybe if I even could drop 100 pounds, maybe I'd be taller. I don't know. It's one of those things, but I'm making a pretty good career off of being 445 pounds. That's what I weighed in this morning. So
yeah, you're definitely an attraction, man. Right? Yeah. You're like the Andre the Giant. You're like the Hulk Hogan. You're the big dude. You're one man gang, King Kong Bundy. Let's see some Davy and Goliath action, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've always just been massive. So it's one of those things where it's like it's a blessing, because you can't teach size, and It's really worked for my benefit in professional wrestling, where just sports in general. Anytime I've played football or did amateur, was my size to my advantage, and kind of throw people around. And then when you mix that with hustle and like this isn't good enough to get by on mindset I've always had, where I'm always like in my head, like not good enough. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I got to figure out how I can be better today than I was yesterday. It's me versus me every day. And so I think those two things of like always trying to put in the work, but then also, having the God gifted ability and size and athleticism, right? Those are things that I think kind of just made a recipe come together to create the recipe for success that we're baking. It's in the oven, Vince.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And I've always gravitated to the big guy wrestlers. I'm a little older than you, so I grew up watching the 80s, right? King Kong Bundy. I got him on my wall back here. I loved King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
Just an intimidating presence, I
Yeah.
liked him. I liked Kamala. I liked Hulk Hogan, just the big dudes, Bruiser Brody. Guys where you'd be like, whoa, wow, what
Oh
was,
yeah.
is there a big guy wrestler that stands out to you in any era of professional wrestling?
Big 400 in 2026.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, he was from the Wrestleville podcast.
I'm a mark for myself, man. Again, like you got the greats like of the past, like King Kong Bundy, for example. That guy was a massive guy. He was almost as big as me. He was 300 and something pounds, 6 foot something, almost as like that was a massive guy. And then you had the Bruiser Brodies, another guy that was big in his own right. You had the Kamalas, you had the big Van Vaders, these guys. Vader was what, 6'3", 6'4", 350 pounds, something like that. These guys are definitely guys that I looked at in their era, and I study them because that's the former generation, and I look at my, guys like myself as the new generation of competitors. In the modern day, I just really focus on myself. I'm not really focused looking to my left or to my right. I'm always competing with myself. So I don't really feel like I have competition. I know a lot of big guys kind of keep track and keep tabs on everybody else. I know there's some really good talent out there. Some big guys, but nobody's really quite like Big 400. I make this joke sometimes and I say it humbly. I think I'm in a class of my own, because to find a true 400 plus pound professional wrestler who can move like I can move with the resume that I have, and the hustle, these are things that are hard, are hard to find, if not impossible. It's rare that I found someone that's in that. I would be in my own weight class if we were talking weight classes. It would be like a super, super heavyweight, I think I'm probably one of the largest overall, not the tallest, because you got like an Omos or, some of the 7 foot tall guys. So I'm not, but like overall, like size plus weights, plus just pure, whatever. I think I'm probably, if not I'm definitely top 3 largest professional wrestlers and competitors today, I would say. Just overall, I haven't actually not met another true. I've met people who claim 400 pounds, but they're like 390, Whereas like I tell people all the time, get a scale, and I've done it, and they're like, wow, this guy's over 440 pounds. And they tell me all the time, like, that you don't look it, you carry it well. Well, yeah, I'm tall, so when you got the height, it kind of stretches out, and then it's a lot of muscle too. So you got the muscular build, but it's just under the little bit of flubber I got,
Yeah. Hey, you said you fall into the super heavyweight. It's super duper.
Oh yeah, maybe it's super duper or super califragilisticexpialidocious. It's something like that. Whatever the top like weight class that's possible, that's where Big 400 is. I'm one of 0, in a class by myself. Who else is MLW booking 3 plane seats for? If there was 4 plane seats in a row, they would have booked 4 for 400. So that was when we had our tapings this past month in New York.
Yeah, so you've had some exciting stuff going on, right?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, you went to Japan. You've wrestled in Mexico. You've wrestled in some collaboration shows with AAA, right? I mean, so where
Yes.
do you want to start? Where do you want to? You want to?
You
Let's
tell
go to
me.
Japan.
Okay, Japan. I had the opportunity to go to Japan, experience the culture, compete in the ring. Fun fact, Big 400 has never been pinned in Japan. So if anybody wants to smoke, you call me up and I'm taking all opponents. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got another 400 pounder. I don't care if you got your best heavyweights. It's all a lunchtime snack for me. Uh Big 400 wants to eat. And that's kind of a running joke that I've been doing lately, where I haven't really found competition, and the fans love it because they're saying, like, I'm like, dude, I'm still hungry. I ain't eat yet, and I'm just, being more goofy, trying to show the office, like, give me better competition, give me a championship match. But yeah, no, Japan was amazing. I went out there, did a tour of different dates of promotions, here and there, and managed to find a lot of success out there. I
How
had a lot of
how
fun
long were you out there?
I was out there for 3 weeks, give or take. Yeah. 3 weeks, give or take. Would have loved to stay longer, but time off work and got to get back to real life at times. Um and by work I had like I'm taking time off from the regular promotions that I work back here in the States. So um you can only be away for so long before you got someone trying to bark up or whatever and talk some stuff and get a spot, and it's like, nah, go out there overseas, take care of business, come back and let people know that I'm still running everything.
And when you were over there, obviously you stand out. I mean,
Oh my God, let me tell you, when Big 400 walked in the hotel, I hit my head on the door frame. Okay. And I was like, my God, I like literally probably daily I hit my head because I'd be like getting out the shower, get dressed, whatever. I'd walk out and hit my head on the door frame. And I'm like, geez, I'm forgetting that these door frames are like probably only like 6.5 feet tall. And everyone out there is not very tall. So, and like I was like just cramped everywhere. The stairways, I had a lot of places, buildings with stairs and not elevated. It was very interesting. It was a unique experience. But the people were nice. The food was good. I had the opportunity to go to the Ribera Steakhouse. They awarded me with the Ribera Steakhouse jacket, which is legendary. It's literally flip framed in my closet. Where it's temperature controlled and like in a special casing so that it can't it's not being touched by sunlight or anything like that.
right. So it won't fade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I've talked to guys they're very proud of that jacket. They've
Yeah. And it was nothing I was expecting. I had this match that just went really well. And, when we went to the steakhouse afterwards, somebody had showed up, and I mean, I don't speak the language yet. A couple more tours in Japan and I might start picking it up. But the people were just talking, and then they were like, oh, yeah. And, the guy was the owner. I got to meet the owner. There I actually got to meet the owner and the son because while I was out there, I had the opportunity to go to both locations. And they gave me the first time I went there, they gave me a jacket, unexpected, and just it was it was a big honor. The opportunity to wrestle in Japan in and of itself is a big honor. The majority of people don't ever even get the opportunity to step foot on, Japanese soil, much less compete in a ring in Japan. And, I
right.
feel like it was a very blessed experience. Same thing with Mexico. I had the opportunity to go to Mexico and another country where I have yet to be pinned. So that was fun. Made some good friends. We would stay out there and train for weeks at a time in the blazing hot sun. I swear it's probably worse than Texas. And, I've had some opportunities to go compete and do stuff overseas in the Caribbean as well. So it's all been fun. International travels. I'm looking forward to the future, though. I would love to go back to Japan. I would love to possibly work for like New Japan one day. I would love to potentially work in Canada. Um, I would love to go do some stuff in Mexico City with some new promotions. You never know what can happen and where Big 400 might pop up.
Right. And things really seem to be moving and shaking for you right now, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Eyes have gotten on you.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Some stuff I can talk about, some things I can't, but there's plenty that we can talk about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
lots of opportunities been coming out recently. Where would you like to start?
You tell me, man.
Okay, any rumors or any news article headlines you want to focus on or bring up first or
Spend a little time telling me about your travels and your experiences in Mexico.
man, the thing about Mexico was really interesting. I spent a lot of time in Baja, California. Um, Number one, it's extremely hot. I lost a lot of weight training there. They have really good food. Can be a bit dangerous, but good food. Some of the best Chinese food I've ever had is in Mexicali,
Really?
Mexico. Where yes, and it was really interesting because what they did is they have a lot of Chinese um, that were born and raised there in that area. I was told, I don't remember the exact story, so I might be wrong here, but I was told that they immigrated years ago and built railroads or something.
Okay.
And that essentially what they do is now they have all these Chinese restaurants out there that use the Mexican ingredients and seasonings. So it was very interesting because there were times like, yeah, it can't be that good, you know. I got a place in the hood that I'll probably kick its butt, and I went there and it was just some of the best orange chicken I've ever had. So or at least that's how I remember. I don't know if I was extremely hungry or if it was that great, you know, but it was good. You know, you're in Mexico with all of this like really good authentic Mexican food, which some of the best food you can get anywhere in the world. And of course, Big 400 is talking about food, right? And and that's
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I bet I can take your word on anything you say, brother.
yes. And then and so we did that and that was great. It was there was a lot of cool experiences. We ended up getting an apartment out there for a while and we stayed there for like a month on the last trip.
Wow.
Um and just me and some of the boys were out there just hanging out, traveling, training, doing shows, um, and just doing our best to hustle and make a name for ourselves. Um,
Here's what I'm interested in. Japan, it has a unique style, and Mexico has a unique style, but in some ways they kind of mirror each other a little bit, don't you think?
yes, it's kind of like art, you know, like any combat sport such as professional wrestling. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever trained in like Muay Thai or wrestling or jujitsu, kickboxing, you know, judo, MMA in general. Everyone has their different flavor and their own styles and you know habits or tendencies that kind of follow like they have their own culture based around how they do things and it kind of varies from region to region in any type of sport or combat sport and that's one of the biggest benefits of having the opportunity to travel internationally and test and test yourself against and compete with these other styles is you're saying hey can I truly go against the best of the best you know because it's not a performance it's a competition and that was probably the primary factor and motivator behind why I enjoy going overseas and traveling so much just to show hey not only is Big 400 dominating the competition in America I'm dominating the competition globally you know like I said I would love to go to Canada I would love to go to the UK Australia would be great whoever wants to smoke you call me up DM me on Instagram Big 4X100 and I'm there. You book that flight, you pay that rate, I'll be there. I'll take on your best, whoever you got. I'm ready to test myself and prove myself against the best of your best.
And when you go into these places, uh, I mean, like we talked about in Japan, you stand out in Japan, but I imagine these people in these other countries, especially the kids, I mean, people gravitate toward you, right? I mean, they're like, dude,
Oh yeah.
you gotta, you gotta pass the airport test real easy, right, dude? I
Uh,
mean,
yeah, I'll frequently have or occasionally have people come up to me and say, "So, what sport do you play?" You know, or what do you do? As you know, if you got somebody that I know now, I'm also large, so you'll have a lot of people that will be off put or intimidated by the size, but occasionally you just have that person that has no fear, you know, And they'll just say, "Hey, how's it going?" Or maybe I'll say something to someone, they'll be just like, "So what do? You got to be in sports. You got to play in the NFL or something." And I'll tell them, "Yeah, I'm a professional wrestler, et cetera, et cetera." So, uh, it's it's a uh, it's a unique thing. But yeah, I'm definitely a spectacle. That's how I would describe myself. I'm a competitor at heart, but I'm also a spectacle. I live in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. You live in Texas. You know this. I mean,
Yeah.
we got some big boys. I mean, Texas eats, breathes, and craps out football, right? I mean,
Right.
the majority of the people in the world, the majority of athletes signed to the NFL right now were bred in Texas. Okay. And I use that word specifically because Texas breeds linemen, you know. Um, and with everything being bigger in Texas, I still stand out. I
Yeah.
walk around and people are like, "Dang, you're massive, dude. Like, do you play for the Cowboys or whatever? Whoever you play for the Texans. Where do you play for? You're in college, but it's it's one of those things where yeah, I'm massive in America, so anytime I go overseas, I'm just even bigger, because Americans tend to be some pretty big. We got some big boned people out here.
Sure.
And so it's always it's always an experience when I'm overseas and I'm extra cautious. Like, am I gonna break this chair if I sit in it? Or is this gonna be another hotel bed I don't fit on? We'll see.
Right. Right.
It's always like a gamble sometimes. But we make it work.
Right. Right. Now you've done. I've noticed you've done a lot of wrestling in Texas. A lot of good talent in Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas. I mean, everywhere. There's good talents everywhere.
Sure.
Um, but great talent can only be found in Big 400. you know. Yeah, but no,
Hey,
Texas has some good places. Some
yeah,
crazy.
you've hit the state pretty good. Yeah, I've seen you go to Houston. I've seen you go to San Antonio. I
Yeah,
mean, you really made some tracks, and Texas is a big place too, man. So
Texas is massive. The second largest state after Alaska, right? I mean, I've driven for 11 hours and still found myself in Texas. And but yeah, I love Texas. One thing I love about Texas is the cities, the different cultures and vibes of each city. San Antonio is different from Houston, which is different from Dallas, which is different from Austin, which is different from the Rio Grande Valley.
hey,
It's
I'm
yeah,
glad I'm glad to hear you say that because I've said that too. You can go to almost any city in the state and get something different. You want
yes,
the coast, you get the coast. You want the desert, you got the desert. You want Greenlands, you get that. You want some mountains, there's that. You know what I mean? There's
absolutely. You even get some snow if you go up north enough.
yeah,
Catch it once a year, just a little dusting of snow. So it's a great place. And I love the fans. The one thing that is consistent throughout all of Texas is Texas has some of the best wrestling fans anywhere around. I mean, there's a few cities slash areas, like there's cities like Chicago, Philly, New York, have great wrestling fans. But then like to find an entire state of regardless of where you go, you just have diehard fans everywhere. That's special. And I've only seen that in Texas thus far, because nowhere else in Philadelphia is competing with Philly. Nowhere else in Illinois is competing with Chicago, you know, and then there's not quite nothing else like New York City. Now there's great fans everywhere, but the thing about Texas, it's you know, is where I've probably seen the most consistency of just love and support from the fans of professional wrestling. So it's great. I really consider myself a Texan at heart. I'm kind of a transplant, but I identify as a Texan. As soon as I tried that first Bucky sandwich and tried brisket for the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And then I started going to the real brisket places, like the actual boutique barbecue spots, the mom and pop spots everywhere. Everywhere I go, I got to stop and find a brisket sandwich, and I was just like, my God, there's no place like home. When I was playing football, I had an offer to go to another team for a pretty big league, and they wanted me to move out of Texas, and that was the deal breaker for me. I was like, either the team in Texas is going to sign me, or I'm not going. And then they ended up going under, unfortunately. So, otherwise, I would have stayed. But yeah, it's Texas is great, and the fans are amazing.
what's your favorite barbecue place? And it can be anywhere in the state. Do you have one?
My gosh, I don't know what it's called, but there's this food truck that I'll go to near me. I probably should know what it's called. I don't know. But it's this gentleman who runs it with his family.
Okay.
He has this food truck parked outside this like local market shop near me on the weekends, and he has some of the best barbecue ribs, beef ribs that you'd ever have. I
Wow.
mean, yes, beef ribs, oxtails, brisket. And that's all he does. I mean, he'll open up at 9 and sell out by 10. So
Wow.
it got to the point, yeah, it got to the point where I told him, I was like, brother, give me your phone number. When I wake up in the morning, I'm just gonna cash app you. When I show up, have it ready for me, please. I'll throw in a tip or something, just so I don't gotta wait in that line. He's like, I got you, man. Just let me know, and I'll text him next day, like I'm coming through, and he'll save save some food, save my order off on the side, even if I show up at like noon or something, which is probably smart by him. I wouldn't want to piss me off and play with my food either. So leave me hungry, disappointed.
That's
So that.
right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. No, I like a good barbecue place myself. So yeah,
Yes.
anytime I can find a good barbecue place. Yes, yes. Austin's a good place too for barbecue.
Oh, yes, yes. Austin's great for barbecue. I mean, I don't think you'll find bad barbecue anywhere in Texas, honestly.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, where would you like to see yourself in the next 2, 3 years? I mean, do you have any short-term goals for yourself?
I have short-term goals. I don't set up long-term goals too much because I wake up every day and just follow wherever God leads me. Short-term goals, which is the 2 to 3 year mark, I would say MLW champion, holding a championship in MLW. MLW is the best professional wrestling organization in the world right now. We have a lot of good sports entertainment companies. If you catch my drift, MLW is not pulling punches. We're the hardest hitting competition you'll see anywhere in professional wrestling. You can watch MLW on Veeps, BN Sports. Now we have a deal with New Japan Wrestling for their streaming services. They're currently airing episodes for free on YouTube right now. It's really easy to access MLW. And if you haven't seen it, recently or haven't seen it before, you need to go check it out and you'll see that it's the toughest competition in professional wrestling right now. Challengers from all over the world are coming into MLW to test themselves against who we have, and we're the best in wrestling. So to earn a championship, to win a championship in Major League Wrestling would be probably a career highlight, the biggest career highlight anyone can have when you look at the prestige and lineage of the who's who that has held gold in MLW. I've had a lot of people that have asked me saying, Big 400, are you going to go to WWE, AEW, TNA one day? Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, I live for competition. I live to compete. I live for the sport of professional wrestling. And when you watch professional wrestling, a lot of different companies do really well in their niche. At the moment, at this current time, nobody's competing, in my opinion, with Major League Wrestling when it comes to competition and the sports of professional wrestling. Other companies do well at sports entertainment. Other companies do well at the theatrics and gymnastics. Other companies do well at the soap opera elements of wrestling. MLW is the number one ranked, in my opinion, at the sport and the competition when it comes to professional wrestling. We're not pulling punches. We're not holding anything back. We're going out there and leaving everything on the line every single night for the fans, for the competition, for the sport, regardless of how you feel. You're waking up in the morning and it's go time. And that's what I love about MLW. It's just that pure adrenaline rush of just sport and fanfare. There's really not an experience. I don't know if you've ever been to an MLW event, but there's not a similar experience like it. It's kind of almost akin to going to a Texas football game. Or like the NBA playoffs, like the Knicks just won. You got the energy. I was in New York when the Knicks won, and the energy is just unmatched. And that's kind of how the MLW events feel. Just the fans there go hard.
In MLW, why do you think they're so hot right now? I mean, what is it? What is it about MLW? Just the right time, the right formula, the right management, the talent. What do you think? Everything's coming together.
MLW lives and dies, succeeds or doesn't succeed based off of the same laws and the same principles everyone else. There's this thing in business called the law of the lid. An organization can only go as far as its leadership. And so, in my opinion, while there's reports of other companies that may or may not be rocky, I can't speak on that because I'm not there. I can say that the leadership that MLW currently has is absolutely freaking phenomenal. From Court Bauer to the VP to the rest of the executives, the bookers, the HR, the agents, the producers, they are just killing it right now. In terms the video, the production team, everyone's just killing it right now. So I think the reason on why we're so good and growing as that number 3 largest company is it really comes down to the law of the lid. Like practically speaking, it's just that you have high level leadership that's in the right roles and allowed to do their roles properly, So from my perspective of things, just seeing how things work backstage, we just have some of the best that are coming together to create magic. And then I feel like we do have a little bit of magic behind it too, because even with that, with that being what it is, you look at just some of the things of like MLW, and it's like, man, there has to be some magic here. It's the feeling of the events is unlike anything else. So, and then on top of that, it's the fans. I mean, MLW has a loyal, diehard fan base. I mean, on my debut match back in Chattanooga, I went out there just because I had some people that I knew that lived in the Chattanooga area, and I snuck out off the side to go see them after the event. And I was being nonchalant, got the hoodie up. But I mean, good luck staying hidden when you're my size, right? It doesn't take a genius to figure out who's that over there, So I go out there to thank, these people for coming out to the show and everything else. They came to see me in my debut match. And I turned around and there was a line of 100 people, and I took time to just spend time with each one of them, talking and taking photos and autographs and whatever else they wanted, because I'm just so thankful for the fans. And, it was really interesting because there was many fans who've said, hey, I followed you for years. I followed you since COVID. I followed you since 2017. I followed you since this and since that. I've seen a lot of your matches. And they're bringing up and it's like, it's one thing if someone says like, oh, I followed you that long, because anyone can say that. But when they're saying, hey, remember your match with so-and-so. I saw your match with so-and-so. I saw this live stream that you were on before and I just never forgot you, And so that's a lot of dedication and a lot of love shown. And so I think our fans are just some of the best appreciators of professional wrestling, I would say. And that's where I think a lot of that magic comes from. So it's probably, I would say my answer to that question is probably a 2-part answer. Number one, we have the right people in the office doing their jobs really well. I mean, my goodness. I mean, when you look at the eyes of, guys like Court Bauer, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say names. I wonder if he's going to watch this. I wonder if they're even going to watch this podcast. I'm sure they will. So it's like, do you want to if I say their name, they'll get like a whole bunch of friend requests or something. People like looking them up on social media. But we have the talent relations guy and the VP and stuff. These guys are really good at their job. I mean, my goodness. And so they're scouting the best talent globally. Literally the best talent globally. There's not politics. It's not, oh, you're friends with so-and-so. It's not, oh, you trained at this school. The thing about MLW is they're saying, can you get in that ring and compete? Right? Can you get punched in the mouth and keep fighting and entertain those fans? And when you look at that and you just look at it from just that aspect alone, there's other layers to it, but just that level alone in the leadership is actually kind of rare in wrestling, because so often politics does play a role, but when you have a coach, like when I played football, you have coaches that are just scouting based off of talent and, who can make money, who can draw money, and not who's friends with someone or who's someone's nephew or who's uncle, that's what really helps us get, like, we have one of the best rosters in the world right now. That's my opinion. That's my perspective of it. I don't speak on behalf of the company, but me looking at it, I mean, my goodness, I'm in the locker room there and I'm saying, you have the best of the best of the best, you know, and I'm right up there with him. Big 400's right up there with him, but it's not by accident. It's 100% by design, and it's by good leadership. So I would say it's the first part is definitely, and that's one layer. I could speak on other layers. They take care of us real well. They pay us well. They, just, I don't know what I can and can't say and what I do or don't want to do because we only have so much time and I don't want to get off too much on a tangent, but like the office side of things, I mean, has been very good. My experience thus far has been nothing but stellar. And so when you have that backstage and you have a great environment, then you pair that with just amazing fans, you get the magic that only exists at Major League Wrestling. And I think that's why Major League Wrestling's where it's at, and
they've been chugging along for a long time.
yeah. So it's like one of those things where I wake up some mornings, I'm like, man, I'm right up there with the greats. I'm right up there with the best of the best. And it just fuels me to compete and hustle more.
All right. Hey, if someone's listening to this, how can they find you on social media?
You can find me in social media. Most of my handles are the same on most platforms. It's Big, BIG, the number 4, X, Hunnid, HUNNID. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Anything else is probably fake. Don't fall for any scams. Just look for Big 400 and you'll probably find me. Well, hey, definitely.
What about merchandise?
Merchandise. I got a store on Pro Wrestling Tees, but here's the thing, Vince. I'm pretty sure, we might have some official merch coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that.
All right. Sounds good.
Yes,
all right. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jay. Thank you so much. We're talking to BigJay Bishop. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Keep it 400.
You're listening to the Wrestleville podcast, where the wrestling fans live.